Yes, 333. I'm a few minutes late. Let's say a prayer for Maddie that we get complete and utter justice. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Happy Monday. Do me a favor and hit the like button on your way in. I am Jay with Guilty of Crime. How you doing today, everybody? Good, I hope. All right, let's say hi to some folks. Good to see you. I haven't seen some people. I saw Lisa catching a live, sweetie. Brookshire, good to see you. JP, say a prayer. 333 is our prayer time of silence for the victims, in this case, Maddie. And we have lots of people to cover over the next few weeks. I'm starting many new cases, and in between, I have lots of new content for you for the Madeline Soto case. Today, we're talking about STEPHAN STERNS and the Always poem for Maddie. Now, I'm going to ask you: is that a love letter, a confession, or do you find that to be a defense strategy? What the heck are you talking about, Jay? What do you mean a defense strategy? Well, I'm going to talk to you guys about that. Definitely going to talk to you guys about that. Of course, I'm going to give you my take. I do have paperwork. And what's up? Thank you, Carly, for noticing the platinum hair. I finally got it to platinum. Yes, Marilyn, what's up? Clar, if you come on here, I'll still take that that stuff I put in there to tone the toner stuff, but yeah, there you are. Good to see you. Look at, I'm getting it closer. Mama Sage, watch it on your TV, girl. Watch it. Clar, what's up? You see that? It's almost platinum. And I got a haircut for you all. Got a haircut. I'm looking like the old school Jay from Guilty of Crime. So what's up, everybody? Here a little bit early today. And I'm here early because, well, Reese wanted me to pick her up, of course. So that, and there's some other shows going on at about 5. So yeah, hello everybody. What's up? Hit the like button. Let's get hyped up on a Monday. Christy, what's up? Thank you. Thank you guys. Yeah, I always have the fade, y'all. I always have the fade going. You guys can't really see it underneath my headphones, but that's it. That's the once a week and a half. That's what I do. And I want to be recognizable for you. So thank you. Thank you for promoting my channel. I have lots of new subscribers. I have lots of new members. Dude, it's kicking. It's kicking. All right. says it'll be there Wednesday. It's a Vita purple conditioner. Amazon will deliver it. I love you. Thank you. And I'm glad you guys got a hair lesson. If your hair's black 3 times dying, throw some toner in it. You're good to go. All right. Yeah. Reese is doing good today. Everybody's good. It's a good Monday. I did lots of case work today. This weekend I don't work much, but yes, this channel's on and popping, Jojo. It is on and popping. I didn't see your comment. Yeah, tomorrow's episode is gonna be crazy. I wish I could do like 5 episodes in one day. I'm so excited for all the episodes that I have for all the victims to get the voice out there. So right now, what I'm gonna do before I get into anything is I'm going to show you these incident reports, and I want to thank, of course, Plunder. Plunder is what I'm reacting to, but I'm also giving you my own. Like, you guys have been here since day one, the day one folks that know I've been covering the Madeline Soto case, right? All right, I've been covering the Madeline Soto case, and I already covered the poem before. I covered the poem, and my analysis of it was that it was a love letter. Now I'm seeing it as a defense strategy, and Paula from Plunder sees it as a confession. So what's up, everybody? What do you think? I want to hear your feedback. We're all going to get it in there. I was angry at her for saying she had a crush on a little boy. He was angry. Yes, I believe so. I think he was jealous of her boyfriends or her boy crushes, and Jen Soto was jealous of STEPHAN STERNS and Maddie's relationship. All right. Thank you. Kristen Perry, I love you for saying that. I am by no means an expert, but I have predicted lots of things in this case. We get things first. on Guilty of Crime, we get things first around here and we're able to analyze stuff. I got that poem, I analyzed it, and I was right. That was not in her backpack. That was actually in his jail cell. I didn't say that, but I said it was in his room, probably in a book somewhere or tucked away. And I knew that since it was talking about as she passes, his life, her life. We'll get into that. All right. So thank you. The horrible, yes, the last bit. We're going to get into all that. Confession and a love letter by Sicko, Lisa says. Somebody else, I don't know who I caught. The Blick. Thanks. It's a car. Huh. I don't know what that means, but big girl for life. Dope. You caught alive. Yes. All right, hit the like button. If you haven't become a member, please do. You all look good in green. Everybody looks good in green. And become a member. Gift memberships if you can. Hit the like, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App if you have the means. And thank you. All right. I think he's trying to pin me too. All right, Donna, I'm going to remember your name because I think he's trying to pin it on Jen as well. I think the only way that he can get out of the death penalty is if he says that. Yeah, it was found in his jail cell in a Bible. Absolutely. Tracy, Plunder said it was in the Bible. Yeah, it was. It was in the Bible. We're going to go over all that today. We have a big show today. Happy Monday. I'm going to give you everything that I got. Like I always do. Yeah, you need the green. Come on, we all need the green. We all need the green. Like he said, he didn't start it. Start what? Start a fight? Lucky. I think it could either be that or him saying he didn't start the essay because many offenders, many chomo predator offenders blame it on their victim. And they say that their victim was looking at them in a weird way, rubbed on their leg wrong, was cuddling with them too closely, or they did something. They blame it on 3-year-olds. And yes, it was on yellow paper. I'm going to go over it. If you guys want me to show you the poem now, we can start with that. You want me to show you the poem? Let's get into the poem real quick. I'm going to hop all over the place. I've got all of it ready for you. Today is a big day. It's Monday. It's always a big day on Monday. All right. So I'll pull up I've had that poem for a long time, y'all. I've had that since it came out. Remember, you want to also thank the Guilty of Crime mods for getting this information. And when we didn't have the FOIAs, they got this information by just digging around in hard work. All right. So let's remember that. Let's get into I'm going to start off with the poem. I'll read it to you. We'll go over that and then I'll give you the analysis. We'll go over the incident reports and then we'll go over what Plunder did. All right. We're going to find out what she thinks versus what I think versus maybe what you think. So it could be a big stretch between all of us. I don't know. All right. So where is that dang poem? I just had it because I posted it on the where'd it go? Where'd it go, y'all? Where'd it go? Handwriting analysis. There it is. All right. This should be it. All right. There it is. Let's start off with this since you guys may not remember my first episode of this. What's up, Queen Robin? How you doing? All right, you guys know that. Let's stop this. I'm going to take this down. Let's start with that because you guys, I think a lot of you guys either are new to the channel, like newer than when I first started or something, because you guys don't remember me reading this poem and analyzing it for you. So we're going to do that today. We'll start off with that. I know everybody's excited. Jojo, member for 7 months. 7 months is just as long as I've been monetized. So thank you, Jojo. You're the best mod. You guys are the best mods. Okay, Christy, you remember it? A lot of people come back to me and say, Jay, you got to see this. Over the weekend, I get like 50 messages on social media. Jay, you got to see this. Did you see what Plunder put out there? And I'm like, I put that out there a long time ago, but sure. Thanks. I still thank Plunder for her content. We're going to go over that today. You watched the potato interview and never heard the Woody Allen content. What? All right. You remember this? I had this on my channel way back when. All right. Yeah. Detective Kevin said that Maddie wanted to sleep with her in her bed. And she said, no, I'm sure she wasn't happy with that MBY fight. Interesting. You saw it here first. You did. You guys got to remember that. I read this damn note, this damn nasty Chomo's letter, and I said, this guy's in love with her. And people said, Jay, you're sick. He can't, that's not love. He can't be in love with her. But after watching Mandu and seeing all the predators, child predators, they do think that they're in love with their victim. They do. Now, that's not the kind of love that we give our children. That's not the weirdo kind of stuff that we do, but it is the kind of sick love that STEPHAN STERNS, in fact, put in his Bible and they got in his jail cell. All right. So let's read that. Let me read it to you. I'm going to pretend like I've only never read it to you, but I have. All right. So let's go. Let me read that. And then we'll talk about everything else. All right. I'm going to read it without saying anything. This says, for Maddie, from right to left on the back. It says, for Maddie. Now it's folded up in 2, 4, 6, 8 squares, small, and it was found inside of the Bible. Now, when we get to the incident report that I had just pulled up a minute ago, that actual incident report, the incident report was because he wasn't supposed to have this in his Bible. He had this piece of paper in his Bible with the poem, and it got taken away. Always. Your hair was like honey with eyes stormy blue. Gone far too soon. I will always miss you. Your smile was a treasure. Your laughter filled the room. This world is not the same. I will always miss you. I loved you so much. I would have died for you. With no end to my tears, I will always miss you. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. With a heart, another heart on the front for Maddie. Okay, we now know this is for Maddie. We know it's a sick note. You remember this, right? I did call it, and I titled it STEPHAN STERNS is in love with Maddie. Sick love, but nonetheless. Now, remember the paper? They took it on the jail document, but they never told us that. People were saying that it was inside of the backpack found by police. All right. It is so sick, Christy. It's so sick. But they were saying that. They were saying that it was in the backpack and it was in a piece of plastic and it didn't get paint on it because it was in the backpack. So now a parent, if a step parent would never write that way about their child, very sick love. Now I could see this being like something at a funeral. But if you wrote this for a funeral, you said, as I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. That would be saying that like they died in your arms, or maybe they had cancer and you were holding them as they passed away, or your child got in a bike accident. Your child got in a bike accident. You were holding them on the way to the hospital and they didn't make it. That's what this letter reads to me, is that this child was in his arms when she took her last breath, hence being strangled and given too much medication that night. That's what Sicko Stearns is writing in this. All right. So it can be many things. It can be a poem for her to remember her every day as he reads the Bible. So a love letter, in my opinion. A confession, yes, because it's talking about her resting in peace. It's already using in the past tense. She's already taken from this planet. And he's saying, I didn't want you to be dead. I didn't want you to be dead. So yes, it can be used as evidence, and it will be. So let me just, one more time, let me say, always. Your hair was like, every time he says like or I will miss you, this first paragraph, your hair was like honey with eyes stormy blue. He's being sick here, right? Gone far too soon. This means that Maddie's gone. It says it's for Maddie. She's gone and he misses her. That means Maddie has already passed away. She's dead and she's gone. This is after she's been strangled. Okay, we don't have the toxicology, so we don't know what kind of medication she had, but we know she's passed away by then. Your smile was a treasure. It filled the room. This world's not the same. I'll always miss you. That means she's gone again. So this was after she passed. He loved her so much, past tense. He would have died for her, meaning he wouldn't have killed her. With no end to his tears, we saw him crying. Sicko Stearns was crying on the news. He cried on the news stations like if his wife had passed away and he was married to her for 30 years. No end to his tears. He'll always miss her. Maddie's passed. And this last part, I held you in my arms. My heart died with you as he held her and she passed away. Remember, when you strangle somebody or somebody else strangles you, it takes 3 to 5 minutes to die when you're being strangled. He's telling her to rest in peace and he'll always miss her. All right. So that's the poem that we are going to analyze today that we're talking about. Right? Yeah, this is a poem that you'd write for an adult, not a child, or your wife that you've been married to for 30 years and she was on her maybe on her deathbed and you want to remember her every day, so you stick that in the Bible and you think about it and you reminisce and you pray. That's what that reminds me of, all right? So, this is just the first part of the show. Hit the like button. If you're on your way in, hit the like. If you're on your way out, hit the like. Do subscribe if you haven't. Share with your community. Right? Hey, Stephan, you're a poet and didn't know it, right? He's also going to be a lifer and didn't know that either, and probably the death penalty and didn't know it. It is gross. It is gross. Waiting for 5. It is sick. I mean, yeah, I mean, just the context of it when we first saw it versus now. We now know where it came from. We now know. So let's pull out the incident report. I'm going to pull that down because we've seen that. We've gone over it. We have it. I put it on my community. And I didn't put it on my community page. I put it in my Patreon. So if you want that note front and back, go to my page. That is not watermarked. The next documents that we look up are going to be watermarked by Plunder. She has the incident report. Now, somebody asked if I'm going to the trial. I would absolutely love to go to the trial. But here's the thing. I would go if I know when it's going to happen. I don't know, and it's not going to happen in 2025, as they say. I can predict that. Now, by then, my house should be all good to go. I should be able to go just fine. Yes, I would love to go to the trial. I'm sure I could swing it. It's not going to happen when they say it will, but yes, I would love to go. Absolutely. And I would love to meet you up there. People that are going to go, I would love to meet you guys at the trial. All right. So let's take a look at incident 1 on 3/12/24. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right screen. All right. Let's get into it. Thank you so much. We should all pray every day for the $4 super sticker. Shout out to Pray Every Day. Rosie, you are not late. I usually start at 4 o'clock. Today I started at 3:30. Ashton says, I feel like I'm evil, but I really hope he indicates Jen knowing something. Oops, I mean Potato Soto. I do too. I'm hoping that he means that Soto, Jen Soto's in on it, and I'm going to talk about that. Justice for Maddie. Yeah, I'll go. And whoever wants to meet me there, let's meet up. Hashtag I took my meds. Everybody's getting their merch. Get your merch, guiltyofcrime.com. Go to the merch store, get your I took my meds. Really cool. We're not making money off of it. It's just for the community thing and to support the channel, and so that we can get the channel out there, but we're not making anything. Yes, the trial. Let's go to the trial, y'all. Let's go to the trial. I live in San Jose, California, but I would gladly fly to Florida when I have solid dates. Yes. All right. I pray. Annette says I pray most often days more than in the morning. I usually pray at night. And I pray during our lives. I say a moment of silence and we pray for the victims around here. Jen Siesta Soto, drugged up lazy potato. Yes. Trigger warning for whatever might come in this episode. Okay. All right. We're going to get into the incident report. Yeah. You guys, of course, I'm going to go to the trial. It's not going to happen for a while. Like I said, my house will be all fixed up. We'll be good to go. I think a lot of people are going to go. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a good schedule. I've been at my job for 17 years and I can absolutely take time off to go. All right. Incident number 1. Pay attention, strap in, trigger warning on March 1st, 2024. Time of the incident, 10:18, STEPHAN STERNS. Right? You guys can see this on the above date and approximate time. Inmate STEPHAN STERNS, and there's his inmate number, was placed on whatever that status is, by a nurse. And I can see this. If I copy and paste, it actually lets me, but I don't know what they're trying to redact. Nurse Tillotson, due to the nature of his charges. Inmate Stearns had been charged with SA, obviously, the battery, victim of 12 to 17 years of age, and possession of child, we'll call it corn, and S battery. Victim under 12 years of age because he had other girls in his 35,000 images, as well as he was already abusing Maddie at the age of probably 6 and above. He didn't document until after 2019 to 2020. Right. So inmate Stearns completed the booking process. Inmate Stearns was secured in hand restraints and escorted to BC by Sergeant Rourke and Corporal Williams. Inmate Stearns was placed in BC 3A, where the hand restraints were removed. A strip search, trigger warning if you guys are visual people, a strip search of STEPHAN Stearns was conducted by Corporal Williams. Say a prayer for Corporal Williams, which resulted in no contraband being found. Inmate Stearns was issued a clean dignity garment and a clean mattress, and the cell door was secured. A 15-minute special confinement watch form was initiated. Inmate Stearns' property was inventoried during the booking process and secured in the property room. Inmate Stearns will remain on observation until cleared by mental health department. This concludes my involvement. Now, this was on March 1st, 2024. All right. So you guys understand that. That was the day I believe he was arrested in the afternoon. And then I swear by this, the person signed off on it. They got all his things March 1st, report forwarded to the watch commander, classifications, etc. So they booked him in. He didn't have any contraband, good to go. Here's incident number 2. Now, this is the incident that's going to talk about him having this in his cell and where they found it. Thank you, Mr. Beer, for becoming a member. I have 202 people in chat. Bogart says, I love your channel. A puppy treat from me. Thank you. And I do give my dogs puppy treats. We call them cookies around here. I don't want to say that because I don't want them to be like, thank you. Thank you for the cookie. Thank you for the cookie, my dogs say. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you guys for your support. 204 people in chat. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Synth, for the $5 super sticker. There's my Starbucks that I bought this morning. You bought me a Starbucks. Thank you. Yes, good wrenches are fantastic around here. And just wait, we got some cases we're covering. Now, Crime Junkie, the trial is not going to happen on February 24th, 2025, but thank you for the information. It says that it will happen for the CSAM and September for the murder of Maddie. It's not going to happen then. I've talked to many experts. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have ex-FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer on this Wednesday, and we'll talk about the trial dates. Don't forget to bring that up. Jennifer Coffendorfer, an ex-FBI agent, will tell you that trials like this don't happen for 2 to 5 years. It's not going to happen in year 1, but I do appreciate those dates. Always appreciate the dates. Thank you. All right. Yes, Coffendorfer, Jennifer Coffendorfer, however you want to spell that. I'm going to put that up tomorrow. She's an FBI agent, so she knows her stuff. We're going to talk about the cases and on and on. Okay, we're good to go. All right, let me read this. Okay. All right, let's get into this. Now, what happened? What did they find in his jail cell? Well, we know they found the poem. So March 1st, he was arrested. July 29th, 2024 at 2:50, STEPHAN Stearns. This is the incident report in July. Let me see, March, April, May, June, July, 4 months later, on the above date, July 29th, 2024, this person, V. Vargas, was assigned to CPOD, housing unit officer at approximately 2:50. I was conducting a random cell search in Charlie Pod while searching the cell of inmate Stearns, Charlie Isolation Cell 2. I noticed some yellow pieces of notebook paper. This caught my attention because yellow paper is not common in our facility. After finishing the search of the cell, I asked another officer to confirm the presence of yellow paper, and he also found it unusual. Just as we were about to wrap up, Corporal Dinko entered the pod. I inquired with her about whether yellow paper was permitted. She wasn't certain and asked to see the papers in question. I then requested inmate Stearns to hand over the papers, which he did. I asked the inmate how he obtained the yellow paper, to which he stated that his attorney had provided him with a few blank yellow papers on a prior date. One of the papers turned out to be a handwritten poem for Maddie. Now, they blocked this out because at the time, right, Maddie's a minor. They know he's been charged with CSAM and an essay for a minor from 12 to 17 and 12 and under, right? So I showed the Corporal Dinko the note. That concludes this is an incident. He wasn't supposed to have this. He wasn't supposed to have written a poem for the victim, right? So they signed it up, dated it. Personally known to me, July 29th, 2024. The supervisor reviewed it after closely examining the handwritten note. I noticed a few lines that concern me. All right. So they're concerned. We're concerned. We've been concerned for months before. This is concerning when you're abusing children and you're writing a note to your victim that's been passed. This is not only concerning, but it's now going to be evidence in the trial that we speak about. I immediately reached out to Counselor Mendoza because I was concerned. This officer says Mendoza has been involved with inmate Stern since he was first brought. Because it's a high profile case, after reviewing the note, she agreed with my assessment that if needed to be reported, Counselor Mendoza then evaluated inmate Stearns to determine if he needed additional mental health support. After her evaluation, she concluded that he could stay in his assigned cell without any additional restrictions. Photos were taken of the note and uploaded to the appropriate drive. Due to some concerning content within the poem, it was handed over to the Kissimmee Police Department. Detective Morris and a chain of custody form was completed. The report is forwarded to the watch commander and the DRL for review. Signed, the officer dated 7/29. Vargas then. All right. So then we got this is the same one. It looks like yellow paper. Officer Richards entered the pod, secured blank piece of paper. I don't know why this is appeared twice, but yellow papers allowed. They said no for Maddie. They had, they have to do this because it's property evidence. Not only is this an incident report, but now this has become evidence. So this handwritten note, both reviewed by both of these people here, both dated on 7/29, approximately 2 minutes apart, given the supervisor, number one. Number two, handed to the detective. Right now, I'm not paying attention to chat because I'm talking to you guys. So what's up, everybody? Hit the like button. Carrie, how you doing? Sadie's mama, all the mods today. Thank you for being here. All right, yeah. Whether you remember or not, you're still a guilty of crime family. Absolutely. All right. That being said, thank you for all your support. Synth, thank you for the 5 guilty of crime memberships. All right, now you guys understand the context. I just explained this to you. I read the incident report. Now we can move on with our life. All right, we're done. We don't need that anymore. We're going to take it down. Good to see you, Chumba from Scotland, all the way. All right, I'm going to pull this down and we're going to get into it. I'm going to start analyzing this. We're going to have some help from our friend because I got so many emails from you guys. Hey Jay, did you see that Jay, did you see that poem? Did you see that video that Plunder did, Jay? Yes, I seen the video that Plunder did. Plunder, we love you. Now, I didn't have the incident report and we love Plunder, so hopefully we already dropped some links for Plunder. Again, you guys saw Plunder's name was plastered all over that. Again, we're going to listen to Plunder. I ask you the question, is that a love letter, a confession, or is it going to be part of the defense strategy? I think it's going to be part of the defense. I also think it's going to be part of the case. Yes, Malibu Surf, my hair lifted J. Yes. Third time's a charm, baby. Third time's a charm. Now I got to put my headphones on and smash my hair. All right. Let's get into this. We're going to pull this up and we're going to finally bring Paula to you, all you guys that wanted me to bring attention to this. We're going to bring attention to it. We're going to talk about it. I think it's going to be used for two things: the defense as well as the prosecution, because now this is part of the case and it will be a confession for the prosecution. It will be, in my opinion, part of the defense strategy, because STEPHAN STERNS was in his mind in love with Maddie and he never want her to be harmed. And number three, it's his dying love. I think he's actually just wanted to think about Maddie every day and write this poem and this love letter. And every time he opens the Bible and professes himself to God, he also reads this about Maddie. Yeah, he's a sick mofo, y'all. All right, trigger warning. Let's get into it. All right. Yeah, he has to justify everything. And Jen Soto should be ashamed of herself for having that predator around for so long. And in my opinion, knowing about it. I believe she truly, in her heart, knew what was going on. All right, let's go. Plunder, confession, Maddie poem, let's go. Hid in the Bible.
I'm sickened by this. It's making me curious. It's this poem. We finally know that STEPHAN STERNS definitely wrote the poem titled For Maddie. We've gone over that before, when the YouTuber The Docket and I and Gray Hughes went in and we purchased certain evidence, and one of the photos was this poem, and we didn't know who wrote it, but we inferred it was probably Stearns. Now we know it is. Previously, we also saw this note on Monday, July 29th, around 7:05 p.m. There was a note added to STEPHAN Stearns' jail notes, to his jail notes file. It said, informational. While conducting cell searches, a letter was found and given to zone supervisor. Be careful when doing cell searches. Inmate had yellow papers. We didn't.
All right, now, it's interesting that they took that away. He's very creepy, Nikki. It's interesting that they took it away, and I think they took it away because they did know that's a huge case. We all know that he abused Maddie for years, and then he took her life. So when it talks about Maddie, he's writing to the victim. It then becomes evidence, and it can be used for both the defense strategy, in my opinion, and it can be used for a confession. But I really think STEPHAN Stearns didn't have those intentions. He didn't want them to find it. And in fact, he did write it as a love letter. Thank you, Jamila. Appreciate you guys all. Thank you for noticing. You guys know that I've been doing my hair for you all. I have to look good for my shows because everybody's like, what's up with your hair, Jay? Why is it black, Jay? Did you hear about the video, Jay? Love you guys. All right, let's keep going.
No, we were like, what? First of all, they didn't call it a poem in that particular blurb, and they said a letter was found. They called it a letter. Be careful when doing cell searches. Inmate had yellow papers. So it was kind of like, what does that mean? Like yellow legal papers? Well, we now have plenty more details about Stearns, where he got the paper, where he hid the poem, and everything. We have more details about this incident involving Stearns from 2:50 p.m. that day, July 29th. Apparently that's when they found it. Thanks to the YouTuber I was watching, allegedly speculating, I have linked to her below. It's because of her I saw these images and more details about the notes, and I put in a FOIA. I keep checking it. They haven't uploaded that PDF to me yet, so I'm going to.
By the way, we've been doing the FOIAs. Bree just put in another FOIA, and we got some information back that wasn't pertaining to the case. So we're gonna do it again, or I should say, I say we because we're all guilty of crime working together. Kiwi thinks. I'm glad you got alive. What's up? All right, so we're also doing FOIAs, and we also all help each other out. Now, I love that channel that she's talking about. It's a small channel, but I think I'm going to start playing some stuff from there. It's awesome. Nikki, get yourself a membership. Get yourself in green. Carrie, good to see you. Me never sending you a video again. What? Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
To read you what was sent to allegedly speculating. And you can also go over to her YouTube video where she goes over a lot more about the entire file that she's going over. Well, it's this incident report from the Corrections Department. The date of the incident was July 29th. It was 2:50 p.m. I always like to see what day it was, just for informational purposes. So that was a Monday, July 29th. So at that point, Stearns had been in there quite a while. We know Madeline Soto went missing February 26th. So March, April, May, June, July. 5 months later, they find this poem. We don't know the exact date he wrote it, but Stearns tried to hide it in a Bible.
That's funny. We both did that. Paula and I were like, March, April, May, June, July. I said 4 months later, and she said 5. So it's funny because it was almost 5, because it was March 1st all the way to the end of July. You guys know July, birthday month. All right. I remember when they found that poem and reading it. It was so hot in here, but you guys were all here. Lisa, grandson's name is Harley J. Awesome. Chumba, him working at Disney, scare the kids. Think about that. Think about him and how much of a predator he is and was. Think about him writing a love note to the victim. Ashley, thank you so much for the $9.99 super sticker. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you.
This is what the narrative says. On the above date and approximate time, I was assigned as the C-Pod Housing Unit Officer. At approximately 2:50 p.m., I was conducting random cell searches in Charlie Pod. While searching the cell of inmate STEPHAN Stearns, 1419688 Charlie Isolation Cell number 2, I noticed some yellow pieces of notebook paper. Now, to me, it's a good thing this officer, God bless him, that they noticed it at all. To me, it does not look yellow. These papers, maybe off-white, I would say, but that's what confused me because it didn't look yellow to me. But it says, this caught my attention because you...
I think Paula's colorblind. Paula, we love you, but I think you're colorblind. You know what? As a matter of fact, I thought that when I saw that, I thought those were from the pad that Maddie had on her desk. And then we also speculated about legal paper. So we didn't know that it was in the cell at the time, but it's very yellow on my screen. So that's interesting. I love listening to Paula's interpretation and her little interjections on the case. Absolutely. I can't wait to get more from the FOIA. Sonia, hello from Australia. Good to see you. Choo choo.
Yellow paper is not common in our facility. After finishing the search of the cell, I asked another officer to confirm the presence of the yellow paper, and he also found it unusual. Just as we were about to wrap up, Corporal Dinko entered the pod. I inquired with her about whether yellow paper was permitted. She wasn't certain and asked to see the papers in question. I then requested inmate Stearns to hand over the papers, which he did. I asked the inmate how he obtained the yellow paper, to which he stated that his attorney had provided him with a few blank yellow papers on a prior date. So we've gone over that video before. I'll link to it below, all about STEPHAN Stearns' attorney and my communications with her and everything. One of the papers turned out to...
You know what's interesting, real quick? Lucky, you say paper can have substance on it and they can't have paper from the outside. Now, here's the thing. Now, if you're a true crime junkie like we are on this channel, you watch all cases, right? So I'm following the Corey Richards case, and legal paper, you can tell when it's legal paper, but you can have legal paper if you're writing to your lawyer or something like that, especially if you're writing back and forth, you need to get a message. But with, let's say, Corey Richards, she was supposedly writing to her lawyer, but she was really trying to get information to the witnesses to tell them what to say. And she filed a whole hearing when the officers took a look at the paper. So STEPHAN Stearns could have said, hey, that's legal paper. They looked at it. That was for my lawyer. had he not wrote for Maddie with a heart on it and made it really obvious that he was writing about and to his victim. All right. So, yeah, you can't have paper from the outside unless you're writing to and from your lawyer. Yes, Michelle, the walk the dog letter. That walk the dog letter is going to make history. It sure will. A whole ass hearing for that. And then her lawyer drops anyway. So he could have had that paper, depending on the context. We've never even known about it. But when you're writing to a victim, he's writing to a victim that he is charged for taking her life. That Calissa says the poem was terribly written. Hard to believe he's so smart, like his mom says he is. Yeah, he's not. He's not. But it's really weird how inmates have a lot more. Yeah, Moscow Mule Lady, how they have a lot more rights than, well, their victims do, right? Yes, hit the like, show some support for Jay and Guilty of Crime.
To be a handwritten poem labeled for blank, and we know that's for Maddie. I showed this note to Corporal Dinko. That concludes what I was involved in during this incident. Now, in the section titled Supervisor's Review / Action, it says, after closely examining the handwritten note, I noticed a few lines that concerned me. So we know the lines. We'll read the poem to let you guys know if you don't remember what the poem stated. We'll talk about those lines. I noticed a few lines that concerned me. I immediately reached out to Counselor Mendoza from Mental Health Services. Mendoza has been involved with inmate Stearns since he was first brought in because of his high-profile case. After reviewing the note, she agreed with my assessment that it needed to be reported. Counselor Mendoza then evaluated inmate Stearns to determine if he needed additional mental health support. After her evaluation, she concluded that he could stay in his assigned cell without any additional restrictions. Photos were taken of the note and uploaded to the appropriate drive due to some
and then sold to us. Then they're sold. And then we're asked to take them down. By the way, the Tiffany Lucas case is going to be sentenced on Friday. So don't forget to be here tomorrow for the Tiffany Lucas case. We're going to go over that last body cam that they didn't want you to see before sentencing. So come here tomorrow. And as you're learning this case, you guys are so deep in this Stearns case, the Madeline Soto case, that you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot from this case, and you're going to take it into other cases and be like, no, that's not right. Or yeah, that's how it works. Learning stuff like this. Now, LA film scene, creative way of confessing to a crime. You know what I was going to say? I really wish that the officers would have took him aside and said, you do need a mental health evaluation because you're writing notes to your victim. And then also tried to talk to him about, hey, I know you love this girl. What would have, what did somebody else help you? I wish they could have done additional questioning on STEPHAN Stearns when they found this note, because I bet you not only could they have gotten maybe more confessions, but him maybe implicating Jen and saying, I really did love Maddie, and we really did have this thing that I thought was going to, go farther when she turned 18. I just think they could have got more information, and I wish they would have pressed for it. I wish I was in there able to help. But LA, you nailed it. Creative way of confessing to a crime, as well as a good defense strategy, in my opinion, but it's also going to implicate him and give him further cause for the death penalty.
Concerning content within the poem, it was handed over to Kissimmee Police Department Detective Morris, and a chain of custody form was completed. The report is forwarded to the watch commander and DRL for review. Now we've got other snippets here too that let us know where Stearns had tucked this poem. An additional narrative says, on the above date and approximate time, while assigned as the C-Pod Housing Unit officer, I was conducting random cell searches in C-Pod. It says again, during this time, I searched the cell of inmate Stearns, STEPHAN 141-9688, who is currently housed alone in Charlie Isolation Cell Number 2. I started searching the cell carefully, beginning with the table immediately to the right. I went through the books on that table and then checked a stack of books on the floor nearby. Among those books, I found a county issued Bible with some yellow notebook papers inside it. The yellow paper
Yep.
stood out to me because it isn't commonly found in our facility. After finishing the search of the entire cell, I asked Officer Richards to verify the yellow paper, and he also found it unusual.
Now, I gotta tell you guys something. I really I don't think that he meant for them to find it. Most of the time, I gotta tell you that I've known many people that have gone to prison, been out of prison, and many people use the Bible to hide behind for either purposes of getting out, purposes of staying out of the way from other people victimizing them, because when they walk around, they hide behind the Bible and they're not really intending to, be this God-fearing person that's repenting their sins. They use it to hide behind. And I really think Stephen Stearns is a sick, evil predator that doesn't know anything or the first thing about God or religion or spirituality. And I think he was hiding it in the Bible. And yeah, Marilyn, he was using it to hide it and hide the Bible and hide behind it. He's never gonna, he's evil. He's a sick predator. And I really don't think Lisa Lee says, of course, he meant for them to find it, or who else did he write it for to himself? Lisa Lee, he's a sick predator. I believe that he wrote it to Maddie and he was having conversations with her. He was writing it for Maddie. When people pass, you write stuff for them, you write poems, you grieve for them. I believe he was using that to grieve for himself. Foxy Amazon, thank you so much for the Guilty of Crime 420 membership. Everybody, 420, y'all. Choo choo. All right. He's going to find out about God. All right. Yes. Put that man on death row.
Noting that its contents were strange as well. As we were about to conclude, Corporal Dinko entered the
Yep.
pod to conduct her supervisor rounds. She approached us and began speaking with the inmate as part of a wellness check. So we see Stearns had a county-issued Bible in his cell, and that's where he took this note for Maddie, like a confession of his sins or something he was praying over. I have so
I
many
think he
thoughts
was
about
grieving.
this. First of all, we talked before on one of Stearns's intake forms or something for jail. He did write down that he's a Christian. I hope it's true. That's his only hope left. Jesus, right there. Even though when Stearns, when he was out in the world and he was on Reddit, he had some post, he had something to say about religion. So I found it funny that he was a Christian now, but it makes sense he has a county issued Bible. Like, for example, I just visited my county jail this morning. I'm in the prison
Yep. There you
ministry.
go.
Wonderful. We give them Bibles. Well, they let our church, they used to let us bring in Bibles more easily. Now we kind of have to put it in their property. It's a little bit different.
So if you guys are also, you are also true crime junkies and addicts like we all are. Every single mod on here is a true crime junkie and addict. If you guys are, you'll know that I don't even know the percentage, but probably 90% of the inmates use the Bible to either. Now, I'm not saying they're not genuine. I'm saying that they use that to get parole. They found God and they use it to get early parole, or they use it for purposes for themselves. Most of the people that get incarcerated aren't just like all of a sudden found God. They're forced to find God. They're issued Bibles, and then a lot of them are really not genuine. And I'm not going to say a percentage, but I know that many of them really do use that to preach God, so for their own use. Yeah, the Bible is used for manipulation. Absolutely. Easiest way to say it.
Different of a process. But what stands out to me is any person, you probably do this too. Maybe if you're a Christian, you might tuck important things in your Bible. I pulled out this old Bible. I think this was my mom's Bible. Wow. From December 23rd, 1975.
Aw, little Paula.
Old, old, old. But I will, tuck things, notes. You can see stuff lying around. I do that too. like, if you're praying over something, or if you happen to be praying over a specific person or situation or something, it's not something God tells you to do. I don't want to get misconstrued, but I tend to tuck things in the Bible. Notably, Stearns
Aw,
tucked his For Maddie poem in the Bible, not in any of one of those other books that he wanted his parents to send to him, almost like it was a eulogy or some kind of sick poem. We're going to read it. I want to see. There's a bunch of repeated information.
no.
Okay, here it is. Corporal Dinkle entered the pod to conduct her supervisor rounds. She approached us and began
Nuts.
speaking with the inmate as part of a wellness check. Officer Richards then asked the inmate about the note on the floor, and the inmate replied that it was a poem he had written. So he admits to writing this poem. Stearns does. He was then secured back inside the cell, and as we walked away, I asked Corporal
Yep,
Dinko if yellow paper was allowed, but she was unsure and requested to
that's
see the
right.
papers. I asked inmate Stearns to hand over the papers, which he did, and that's when he said his attorney had given him a few blank yellow sheets on a previous visit. And that's when they're like, this poem is weird. And I'm glad they handed it over to the police, as they should, because my deal is, to me, it's like a confession. We've gone over this before, but this property and evidence chain of custody form says handwritten note, and it signs off who it was given to, handed over to the detective. Now it looks similar. There was a couple of screenshots.
I just really don't think that STEPHAN Stearns did that on purpose. I think that he wouldn't think that anybody would question him with his Bible. I do think this was an accident, and I do think that it's going to benefit the on the confession side, and it's also going to benefit on his side. When he goes to trial and you hear this demon when you hear this demon's attorney say, "Well, they found this letter in his Bible, and he's turned himself to God now, and he wrote this for Maddie because he just loved her so much, but he didn't mean for them to find it. But it tells you that he was with her, and as she died in his arms, but Jen caused that, and when that happens, it could just give one juror reasonable doubt for them to not put him to death. Okay, so I think, yeah, I think that yeah, he is, Carrie. He's screwed regardless. But I'd love him to be scared on death row like Ted Bundy was. I'd love for them to be walking to his cell, and every time they walk to his cell, him fear that he's going to be put to death. And every time that there's an execution date set for STEPHAN Stearns, that he fears that he can't sleep the night before, the week before, the day before, the minute before, or the minute they set an execution date and he has to count the days until execution's coming for him. I'd love for that to happen to STEPHAN Stearns. I would absolutely love, and I'm not like one of those people, but yeah, Tracy, I would love for him to be like Ted Bundy was, and just them to shove that gauze up his ass when they're gonna execute him so that he doesn't shit himself. Sorry, but I had to. All right, let's go.
That allegedly speculating has published. It looks like a 6-page report here, but we see the for and the Maddie part is redacted. We see the heart, and I was comparing them. I just went through a comparison to make sure it was the same poem. I'm doing side by side here. The jail must have taken a photo, but then when the cops got it, they took an even better photo of it. And again, it says always, and it's underlined, and you can tell Stearns really took his time in writing this poem. A poem that he sat there and maybe stewed over and thought up in his head and practiced and wrote to the point where there's no mistakes. I don't know how much paper, his lawyer gave him, just a few sheets. That's another whole thing we
Yep.
talked about today. Even some jails aren't even letting us prison ministry, correctional facility workers, ministry people come in there. We can't even give some people paper because you don't want any illicit substances appearing on the
Yep.
paper which of course we
Of
wouldn't bring
course.
in there, but this is happening in jails, I guess, across the country or what have you. And if
Yes.
there's a substance on the paper and they're rolling it up and trying to smoke it, and some people are losing their lives, not that people would care about Stearns losing his life, but we do want to see Maddie get her justice. Whether this
Yes,
man
we
will
do.
plead guilty or not, this almost reads like a confession to me. Once again, going over this.
And we're gonna I didn't show you that side. I saved it for plunder. I have both sides. I uploaded it to my Patreon. So if you're already a Patreon member, go get it. There's a lot of documents. I'm starting to fill Patreon up with documents and videos that will be exclusive soon. But that says for Maddie. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here with myself. I'm going to play devil's advocate with myself and what I'm reading in the chat. Let's say STEPHAN Sturts did know because they do say to them, "Hey, we're going to check your Bibles, etc." He's a new person in prison, okay? So he's not that it's not you say somebody said prisoners know that they're going to check their Bible and their books. Well, most of the time it's not that thorough. They don't go through every single page of everything. And, let's say he was thinking that way. Let's say STEPHAN was thinking, they're going to check through my Bible and all my books. Let me write this thing and meander my way into the Bible so they'll find it. I don't know if how smart he is when it comes to that. I don't know. He didn't do a good job of hiding Maddie's body. He didn't do a good job of getting rid of her body. He didn't get a good job of staying off of the cameras that day. He did a terrible job. Yeah, I hope she haunts the potato. Yeah, rest in peace, Maddie. Wonder if he thought them finding this was also a dick punch. I hope he gets punched in the dick. He deserves that. Let's meander into those bank statements, right? No, he has not been in jail before, and that's why I'm saying, Nikki, I don't think he really knows to the extent that his stuff's going to be searched. But if he was, let's say he's smart enough, it still could help him in his case for him to say that Jen Soto started it. He didn't want it. He loved her. She didn't care about her, but he did. All right. So we can play both sides of it. Absolutely. I love both sides of the case.
Poem for Maddie, Stearns wrote always and underlined it, capital A. Your hair was like honey. This is the part that grosses me out. He starts off talking about
Yeah.
her physical attributes, I guess complimenting her physical attributes. And it's
Right.
like sickening knowing the charges, these CSAM charges he's facing. And it's sickening to think of it in that regard. He's writing this towards a girl whose, care, she was in his care, but he took advantage of that. He didn't treat her like a beautiful little daughter, like that one
Yep.
great cop who confronted Jennifer Soto, Maddie's mom, said he treated her like he treats you. And that's when Jennifer kind of goes, oh my goodness. But it says, always, your hair was like honey with eyes stormy blue. So he's
Was.
complimenting her hair and her eyes. Gone far too soon, I will always miss you. This is pretty rudimentary, but I do notice that Stearns is intelligent. That doesn't mean he's not evil. I'm not like complimenting this man's wit and charm or anything like that. But it does show you
Yep.
there's no misspellings. Everything's like the proper tense. I don't know if you're technically supposed to put commas after every line in a poem like that, but he did. But there's no mistakes. He's calling her hair honey, her eyes.
Now, another thing I want you to notice, and you can't see it in this video, but this guy is so like he's just such a weirdo. He's such a weird guy. He's so underdeveloped as a man, as a human. On this letter, when you look at it close, now I have a high res image that I have in my folder here. If you look at it closely, he wrote this in pencil and then he erased it around it after he inked it in. So it's like if you're doing a tattoo, you'll pencil something in and then you'll ink it in and get rid of the lines. That's what he did with this letter. So yeah, a weirdo understatement, honey. He's a predator, a weirdo, a sicko, the devil. He wrote it in pencil for her. So he thought this out in his tiny little predator chomo brain of his. And then he sat there with an eraser and erased all the lines and inked it in and put his commas there and all of his past tense was and were, and you died. As you died, I died too, and I cried for you. Yeah, he's a sick, gross weasel chomo. Like, ugh. Yes, I did catch that. I did catch that, Jamila. It's disgusting. It's even more disgusting. Like, I wonder what else he did to that piece of paper. Did he use that as material to whack off to? And I hate to say that, but yeah, he should have wrote a note for Jen. Your body's like a potato, so prickly and lumpy and prickly. We got to write a poem about Jen Soto and her. Your body was like a potato, and your lines in your forehead were. How can we do that? Let's write. Let's help him write a poem for Jen Soto and her potato. Jen Soto the potato. All right. Alien. I love you guys. You guys, I can go on a rant all day about this predator. All right. Anyway, yes, he inked it in after he penciled it in and made it perfect. And to me, it still doesn't look that great. It still looks like when I was in like 6th grade writing. Ugh.
Stormy blue, gone far too soon. I will always miss you. Of course, he thinks she's gone far too soon. Why is she gone? And what happened that fateful, fatal night to kill
She was
her? If
strangled.
Stearns is thinking she's gone far too
Asphyxiation.
soon, obviously, maybe he didn't want her gone. Maybe there was some situation that he felt or whomever felt necessitated Maddie's life
Like
being
a
taken.
wrinkled prune.
There's that interesting interview with Chris and Deborah Stearns on Hidden True Crime, where Deborah Stearns makes an interesting comment talking about when she spoke with STEPHAN, and I still want to hear like this jail phone call or whatever, where Stearns reportedly said he went off, I guess, to blow off some steam, and when he came back, Maddie was gone. We didn't get a lot of details about what she meant, but is that what Stearns was telling her, telling his mom, like something happened and he just went off to blow off steam? That sounds like someone who needs to let go of anger. What incident happened? Why did he have to blow off steam? Or again, is it all another fantabulous lie that Stearns is making up again just to make himself look like Mr. Innocent? Like, oh, I just went off to blow off steam. I went for a walk or whatever.
And he did say that. Good point, Paula. Good point. He does say that. He says he went to, it was the deed was already done, is what he was saying. He went to go blow off some steam. And when he came back in, the deed was done. And Maddie's life was already taken. And he held her in his arms. And Jen did it. And she started it. And as a matter of fact, Jen permitted him to sleep with her daughter. We could see it in the text messages. So it was clear that when he'd come out naked, they'd be sitting on the bed and STEPHAN would come out of the bathroom naked, and that was okay. It was all okay for him to FaceTime her every day and be texting, and all the notes that Maddie had and the drawings of sexual positions of a young girl. Jen okayed it. I hope Jen gets arrested. I really do. Blondie, we're going to go over the 5 charges that Jen Soto could be charged with now on Wednesday with Jennifer Coffindoffer, the ex FBI agent. Okay. So we'll get some feedback on that. I hope that she gets arrested just for sleeping with her daughter is endangering and neglect and so many more. Oh,
He told his mom. I came back and Maddie was gone. We know people who are criminals, they can make up a whole bunch of stuff to make themselves look so innocent. Back to the poem. Your smile was a treasure. Your laughter filled the room. This world is not the same. I will always miss you. So he's going from the look of her hair, like honey, because he was the one dirty blonde, and blue eyes. We know Jennifer immediately said, Maddie's eyes were blue. She told the cops, gone far too soon. I will always miss you. Your smile was a treasure. It's just sickening thinking of this coming from him. Like any other person who's complimenting a beautiful young girl like Maddie, yeah, it's lovely to say your smile was.
yeah, no, it's lovely if you're at her funeral and you're saying something beautiful about Maddie, which her mom never said anything good about her to in anyone's presence. But that is disgusting in the context of knowing all the pictures and all the things that he did to her. Randy Herrera, I'm so glad you're here in chat today. Jen Soto did not get immunization. she should get she didn't get she's she didn't get immunity. She got one time one time queen for the day. Yeah, suddenly I'm angry. Someone says I'm hungry. Suddenly I'm angry when I hear Jen Soto's getting out of this. No, she didn't. She got one interview and they couldn't use any of it as long as she told the truth. All right. So one time she needs immunization. Yes, I was going to say that, Foxy. I was going to say that. Immunity. And she did not get immunity, but she needs her immunizations, right? Because she's a dirty, nasty, rotten potato. She got a queen for the day. All right. Her short term versus long term memory doesn't make sense. I remember the last time I interacted with someone I cared about. She's all backwards. Well, she's covering something up. We know that already. We know that for sure. We just need proof. We need more proof.
Was a treasure. And to say your laughter filled the room, I can imagine her laughter. I don't know if I've even heard much of Maddie's voice beyond that
She's going
short
to play it right
little
now.
Snapchat snippet where she goes, "You can tell, you can tell."
You can tell, you can tell.
But how often did
Aw.
Maddie's laughter fill the room in the presence of her abuser? This world is not the same. I will always miss you. I loved you so much. I would have died for you with no end to my tears. I will always miss you. Ugh, it just gets frustrating reading this. First of all, he did not love her. Stearns might be
Yep.
equating his emotions and his actions and his feelings, and maybe he thought they were in a relationship or whatever this twisted man's mind thought about Maddie, but that isn't love. That is not the definition of love. The definition of love and care, especially for children, is to just train them up in the Lord, and when they're
What?
older, they won't depart from it. You know, we train them up in the way they should go. Maddie should not have gone
What?
the way Stearns forced her to go. I mean, if you read some of those charges, like I try and stay away from these traumatic details, and there's no way I don't think I could handle this trial. You know, I believe only the jury might see certain things, but just the things he was encouraging her or forcing her to do, not only as a little young girl trying to watch cartoons, but also I was reading certain parts where it's like he's making her like dance for him or pose for him or whatever. And I was just, ugh.
And you wonder how many times that he did that, how many times he did that, and we got a picture of Maddie, but right before we got a picture, and this is the trigger warning potato, the evil potato. It could be used for anything, and it's good right now because when we're talking about what Paula's talking about, we read some of those things that she's referring to, and they got burned in my brain to where I had nightmares. It's just awful and disgusting, and you can't unhear it or unread it because it's like I'm a visual person. But yes, wonder how many pictures that she had to smile for that really inside she was just dying inside. I don't know how normalized this became, how often that he did that to where at one point she might have thought that she also felt love for him because he groomed her so much. I can't even comprehend, and I can't look at any pictures of her anymore without thinking something bad happened to her either just before or just after. Yeah, we love Chucky Potato, but it's still a trigger warning, still a trigger warning. All right. I'm glad you guys are all here. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, share, get your memberships. Y'all got to be green. We're doing a members only. We're doing a members only either this Friday or next week, early week. You guys let me know. Most of the time, you guys like me doing members only on Fridays. So if you want a members only on Friday, get your membership now because we're going to do a really good Mama Bear. We're gonna do one for the Mama Bears. We're gonna talk about moms and our rights and what we can do and then what you think. We're gonna have a good, really good members only coming up. I can't tell you what the case is. It's gonna be a secret. Unless you're a member, you're not gonna know what it is. But please do get your membership for that. All right. Rosie, so tasty. You're making you guys are talking about food. Oh, you're gonna make me want to go. Don't do that. We still got another 15 minutes here, if not more.
You just to envision these things. When a little girl who's
It's that.
loved, you imagine things like, oh my goodness, you see your daughter if she has an aptitude to be an artist or a great gymnast or an Olympic athlete, a great swimmer, whatever. You support that. You do what you can to buy art supplies, to drive them to and from school, make sure they have great snacks. Like, that's love, not whatever he's talking about. And then he's like putting himself in the place of Jesus, to me, like this Jesus complex. I would have died for you. Like,
Okay.
no.
I know, but
Greater
don't
love
do
has
that.
no man than this, than one who lays down his life for his friends. Okay, that's Jesus Christ. That's not Stearns. Stearns is like, I don't know, big upping himself, martyring himself. I would have died for you, Maddie. No, this is
See?
just talk. These are just dramatic words. In real life, Stearns.
And so let's talk here for a second. I am wondering, did he want that to get found? Did he want them to find this so he can martyr himself on one hand, and then on the other hand, be able to bring Jen into it? He look at how great he is and how much he loved for her. So, there's two sides to this. We're not going to know until we see it happen in trial, or till maybe there's a plea and they take this and we hear that this evidence is going to be used. Hey, dude, this is going to be used against you because you're talking about her dying in your arms and using the past tense, etc., etc. How is this going to play out? What's up, Bassmaster? Granny, how you doing? You're in green, looking good in green, looking good in green. And Jojo, catch a members only alive. Thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. It's also 444 right now. So let's say a prayer for Maddie that she gets complete and utter justice and that Jen Soto gets arrested. All right. And I think Stephan Stearns deserves nothing less than the death penalty. That's what I'm hoping for.
Stearns did not die for Maddie. In real life, Maddie died. We don't know all the particulars yet, but that's what happened. With no end to my tears, I will always miss you, as if it's
Me
a sympathy
too.
bid with no end to my
Too.
tears. Now, this is the most damning part. No wonder, thank God, these jail workers, employees found this poem and, knew it was important enough to hand over to cops. Very astute. I mean, I'm sure they have so many cells to check, so much property to go through, so much contraband to try and find. But these sharp-eyed employees down in Florida
This
noticed,
Friday.
wait a minute, that yellow paper is different. What's going on there? And I do remember somewhere in all these notes, I've got a link to the other video I did quite a while ago. I feel.
And real quick, let's talk about that, Richard. A lot of these predators, and I know a lot of you guys watch that stuff too. Many of these predators do fantasize about children. And so their fantasies are sick and twisted. And I don't think that they stop when they go into prison. I don't think that Stephan Stearns' animated fantasy of Maddie and how their life's gonna be or how it was is stopping. And I think that's why that letter is what he wrote to her, because he wanted to, like, remember her and pray to her, or whatever his sick twisted way was. I do believe that. Thank you. Yes, guilty of crime, Maddie Soto. Thank you so much for the 444 super chat. Go check out that page, please. Go check out the website guiltyofcrime.com and look at all the links there. We have pages for our victims, and, well, there's not many survivors, so really the victims. All right, let's keep going.
Feel like I remember Stearns saying something about wanting paper or something for something. I thought he wanted paper to get a note to someone else, to pass along a note. He was asking his mental health expert if he could have paper for some reason
Maybe.
to pass along a note to someone, if I'm not mistaken. I know there was something about him wanting a special request of paper, and that mental health expert did say, well, I'll have to talk to the attorney about this, making sure they're doing everything on the up and up. So I'm assuming, obviously, that message got passed along to the attorney. And maybe that's when the attorney, Elizabeth, brought Stearns a few pieces of blank notebook paper. So this final stanza.
Now I'm going to play devil's advocate again, because I don't know that he had to know it would be found. When you're using yellow legal paper, those officers are not supposed to be reading your things. That could be a problem. That could be a problem. And the only reason I really know that is because of the Corey Richards case. Had that been yellow legal paper that she wrote it on and it said to my lawyer or whatever, they're not even supposed to be looking at that. But because of the nature of this nasty, disgusting letter, this sick letter, the officers knew better. And they're like, dude, this is evidence. This is evidence. It could help in the, I mean, it could help convict him even further. They're looking at it as a confession, as a sick confession about this dead young girl that was a victim of his. Okay. So I, yeah, he may have known, maybe he was smart enough. I just don't see him as being that smart. I really don't. He thinks he's smart, but yeah, Richens was labeled for my attorney. It was, and that's what ultimately got the way it did. He didn't, but maybe he thought, well, it's yellow paper, it's legal paper, or maybe it's his confession. It could be.
This coup de grace, he ends it with something so controversial. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in
No,
peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. That's the part we all found really strange before. He's putting himself there. Stearns is putting himself perhaps at the scene of the crime or immediately afterwards. But he's saying, this is for Maddie. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. So it's like he's saying, my heart died when you died. Now we know Maddie's cause of death involved strangulation,
regulation,
involved damage to her hyoid bone. And he's talking about holding her in his arms and his heart dying
right?
with her as she died. So any jury can look at this and say, okay, Stearns, you are literally writing a confession. And where do we put confessions sometimes? A lot of times we tuck them in our heart or we whisper them to God. He tucked it in a Bible, a sacred text. Maybe it means something to him now. I don't know.
And he's said it multiple times where he's pointing to Jen Soto being a co-conspirator. As a matter of fact, almost like he's the co-conspirator, like she committed the act. She pushed Maddie onto him, and then she took her life, and Stefan dumped the body because he needed to. Mom, hello, I love you. You're right. Maddie didn't have a chance with the mother like that. Absolutely. I couldn't have said that better, Mom. Love you. I hope you're doing well today. Rest in peace, Maddie, Ashton Lee. Thank you so much for the $3 super sticker. You guys are so awesome. You guys always just rocking. Thank you. All right, let's keep going.
As he says, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I will always miss you. He ends it with a heart. Maybe he's looking for some type of absolution. Maybe that's why he put it in the Bible. I'm glad they confiscated it. I
Yeah,
hope
could be.
Stearns is opening that Bible just like I told the women I looked at today in those orange jumpsuits and those flip flops, some with socks, some not, giving them Bibles when I can, giving them the Word of God. That's the only hope. So if Stearns is truly no longer playing games and lying to his parents and speaking with his little mealy mouth, Mickey Mouse voice, trying to garner sympathy, if he's really ready to lay it all down, lay it at the foot of the cross, maybe he'll look up and see the verse that says, confess your sins to one another. There's so much in the Bible about confession. So maybe this is a hint. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this could be, I pray in Jesus for Stearns to just confess, stop playing games, just tell the truth about what he did to Maddie. Tell the truth about what happened that night.
I think he really is trying to get at that, everybody. I think we've heard him multiple times. We've read it. We've read it multiple times when he's talking to his parents about Jen being involved. His parents have not only hinted at it, but they've straight up said, "Oh, you're going to let Jen get away with that? You always used to do that when you were younger. You didn't tell on your friends even though they did it." So I do think that he's hinting at that, and there's a good possibility that he did write that so that they would see it and be able to kind of look at that and say, well, and he felt like a martyr. And maybe he did. Maybe it is a confession, but I think it's going to hurt him. And in a way, it can help him if he decides to ever speak up about Jen being more involved like he's hinting at. Him and his parents have been hinting at it like hardcore.
Tell the truth about what Jennifer knew, what she didn't know. Just tell the truth. Spare this family the entire trial. Let's just say it, a gross trial. I just saw a story and read a headline about a jury member who literally fainted after seeing autopsy photos. Sometimes I feel like I would just get sick seeing some of the stuff they see. It's sad enough in Abby and Libby's case, the photo that leaked, it's horrible. It's like the stuff you don't even want to talk about. You hate that it happened and you hate that it's online now.
I hate that that poem is even out there. And you know what, LA film scene, these are the kind of questions I love during live streams. Yeah, the puppy was crying. I had to get him. Just out of curiosity, by removing the poem from Stephan's Bible, does it violate his constitutional rights? I love those questions. I love that you're thinking. And now we just talked about that. And it depends on the situation. Had it said the to his lawyers, been addressed to his lawyers on the legal paper, it could be a violation, and it could be cause for a hearing and for them to not even bring that up, not show it, whatnot. So that's good thinking, and it depends also on the context. Now, violating his rights, it didn't say that. It didn't say it was, and paper's not allowed. You're not allowed to be stashing stuff. He was on watch. He was on he was on an unaliving watch. So he had even stricter restrictions at that time and still does. So no, the answer for this particular question is no, but good question. I love questions like that. Even if it's thrown out, it's game over for him, right? It's game over, but I do want him to get the death penalty. I want him to be scared every day of his life like Maddie was.
Hopefully, this entire family can be spared a trial if Stearns would just confess, tell the truth about what he did,
Right.
and take his punishment instead of stretching this out, writing poems to Maddie, tucking it in a Bible, acting like he
Right.
was some kind of good person to her. He was not. He took advantage of the situation. He took advantage of a vulnerable girl who was
Right.
not protected enough. And writing her this poem, it's just inappropriate. I'm glad he did because
Exactly.
I'm glad they caught the poem, and I'm glad this poem can be seen by the jury. Potentially a confession. That's if he keeps playing games and doesn't tell the truth.
See, I love you guys. Pointer lover, you're absolutely right. The yellow paper was not legal for him to have in jail. So for this particular instance, that's what I'm saying. It's not violating anything. He's violating and confessing essentially to the unaliving of Madeline Soto. So yeah, I said under different circumstances, you can have yellow legal paper if it's addressed to your attorney and in the proper format, but it was tucked into his Bible. He wasn't supposed to have that yellow paper, and what it said was disgusting and eerie, and it reads as a confession, and that's why they even wrote up an incident report. Had it said something else or been addressed to his attorney, then it could have been a problem. So in this context, Pointer Lover, you're 110% right. I'm agreeing with you. I've been saying that. I'm just trying to give you a whole like little lesson on jail and what happens in jail and under different circumstances so that when we do watch cases like this, you guys can know right away. All right. Now, his lawyer gave it to him, introduced the call. Yes, his lawyer did give it to him. And if you remember, Corey Rishen's lawyer, she said gave her some things that she wasn't supposed to have. And that caused a conflict as well. So even by saying that, you could really piss your lawyer off. So you're right. Supposedly he did. He did. And what's up, Wyatt? Good to see you here. I love seeing you in our chat. You always have good questions and good conversations. What would a convo with Jen? Yeah, I wonder what it'd be with Jen Soto and Stephan Stearns right now. I'm sure their behaviors would be so telling, and that's why she's never gonna talk to him. She's never gonna, she's not that dumb, y'all. She looks dumb and she looks like a potato, but she's not. Now, Wyatt, that can happen. Absolutely. Lawyers can do that unintentionally or unintentionally Most of the time it's not intentionally, and sometimes lawyers will give you things that they shouldn't, but it happens. It happens. But it was contraband in this case. Corey Richards wanted Crest white strips too, and she called her lawyer out on it. She called Sky Lazaro out on, Sky would let me have white strips in. That pissed her off. That really pissed off Sky. So yeah, that happens though, and lawyers can give you that. You just have
Well,
to
I
do the
keep
right thing.
refreshing until I see this document uploaded. I don't see it uploaded yet, but apparently it's 6 pages. If I get it by the time I've
Wow.
edited this video and everything, I will link to it below so you can read it too. I'm grateful allegedly speculating found it. It's, again, one more piece in the puzzle. We keep getting pieces in the puzzle. We keep getting clues till we see a bigger picture. But at this point, Stearns just needs to confess. Let's close with Philippians 4:13 through 15. I can do all things which he has called me to do through him who strengthens and empowers me to fulfill his purpose. I am self-sufficient in Christ's sufficiency. I'm ready for anything and equal to anything through him who infuses me with inner strength and confident peace. Ooh, that Paul, he trips me out. The Apostle Paul. I press on toward the goal to win the heavenly prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. All of us who are mature pursue.
I love Paula. She just said that apostle, he trips me out, and she laughed at it. Now, if you follow or read the Bible and you quote things like Philippians 4:3, whatever. I'm spiritual, but I don't read the Bible like that. That just made me laugh. All right, we're gonna finish hers up, and then I'm gonna show you the note one more time because I do want to zoom in super close so that you can see that he wrote for Maddie on the other side. And right then and there, when they saw the for Maddie, now you got to remember they blurred that out on the incident report because that's his victim. She was a victim. He took her life allegedly, as well as hid her body. They saw on camera, as well as abused her for years. So I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to zoom in so you can see the pencil marks, how he sat there and gross penciled it in and then did his thing. Thank you, Synth, for the 5 Guilty of Crime memberships. You guys are awesome. Don't forget, go to guiltyofcrime.com and let us know tomorrow what you think about the website. Our dear Synth did the website. She did the website. I want you guys to let us know what you think. Plus, you have all the contact information there. All right, let's keep going. Paula.
Pursuing spiritual perfection should have this attitude. And if in any respect you have a different attitude, that too God will make clear to you. I like that. Like wherever we're falling short of pressing towards whatever call God has for us in Christ Jesus, we're pursuing spiritual perfection. We should have that attitude like Paul. Paul was like an extremist. At first he was like, whoo, very anti-Christian, and then he was like, whoo, on it to the extremes. And some of this stuff, like I was thinking today, I meant to tell some of the inmates today, some of this stuff, Paul was writing from house arrest. First he was under house arrest, the Apostle Paul, who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. He was under house arrest writing some of this stuff. Rejoice in the Lord, I say always, and again, rejoice. The Lord is near. And then later, he was in some horrible prison. But he still pressed forward, and God will make clear to us any attitude correction we need. So if Stearns needs an attitude correction, if he's just tucking stuff in the Bible without literally opening it, that's what I used to do when I was a little girl and Bibles were around the house. Part of me still kind of does this. Like I would never set anything on top of the Bible. I treated it like a relic. And if I would have opened it and read it back then, I would have learned it says, don't treat this like a relic. Treat this like a book to read as life. The word is God. So if Stearns is hiding little poems for Maddie inside a Bible, yeah, that's not going to cut it. At least it's a form of a confession, but he doesn't need to be writing poems to Maddie. He needs to be confessing his sins. He needs to show God that he's truly repentant, meaning to turn, do something different. Stearns should show God he's really remorseful for what he did by literally confessing. That's just the first start.
Let me just answer that real quick, Ashton. I want to say that, and it's a good comment because I think she told him she preferred to use Google to communicate. Let me clear this up real quick. Now, first of all, cops don't need to know about Google Meets. They don't need to know about Google Meets. They're not going to be the forensic team that goes in, the phone forensics or whatever you want to call that goes and digs into the phones to find all the communication. So it doesn't matter if they know about it. Once the phone gets turned over to those people, they're going to know about Google Meet. Now, I want you to know what the heck, why they use Google Meet. They only use that because one of the phones, or one or two of the phones, I think one was an Android. And so you can't use FaceTime. FaceTime is Apple. It's an Apple product. It's like trying to go use iTunes on your Google phone. You're not going to use iTunes on your Google phone. So they used Google Meets. And in my opinion, they were using FaceTime and Google Meets because it's a face thing, right? You can get up in their face, you can see what they're doing in the background, and you have this some kind of coercive control over someone when you're able to be in their face and see what they're doing. And I believe that STEPHAN wanted to keep on being in control of Maddie. Yeah, it's an Android versus an Apple, FaceTime versus Google Meets. But I think he used that because he wanted to see what was going on with Maddie, and he wanted to be up in her space and see what she was doing when she was with her friends and she was FaceTiming him or Google Meeting him. It was just an Android versus an Apple thing, and he just wanted to continue grooming her and controlling her. That's it. I think that's the deal with that. And I see you guys talking about the Crocs. I noticed one crime scene. There were two sizes of Crocs. One was size 8 and one was 7. Yeah, I believe one was Maddie's and one was Jen's. And I heard you guys talking about I read you guys were talking about the leash and the Croc. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it was at separate times. I do think STEPHAN might have went in the room. And that's why I think Jen knew. I think he was carrying Maddie and she had both of the Crocs on. She dropped one of them. He threw the other one away, and then the leash, he had a leash in the front seat. So was he holding Maddie up in the front seat with that alternative, with not just the seatbelt but the leash? I don't know. We're going to find out as we keep going. So far I've been kind of right on a lot of things, and this is all speculation. It can go this. I'm asking the question, is it always a love poem? Is it a confession or a defense strategy? And it could be all three. It could be all three, or it could be one, or it could be none. This is all speculation. Thank you, Pointer Lover, for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, Jay. I'm enjoying your channel. I appreciate you. I love your little Marvel dog on there. I'm sure it's a badass dog. All right. So anyway, yeah, we're all just speculating at this point and trying to get the story out. Now, the story Jen said about the dog being put on a leash, I do not believe either. I don't believe that nasty potato took the dog for a walk. I think maybe STEPHAN might have said, hey, I need the leash, because he needed another leash to hold Maddie up in the car. And we did see the leash. There were leashes in there, alien babies, but there was a leash in the back seat. I think he needed an additional leash to hold her up. All right. Lori loves life. His Jay, I'm late to chat. That's okay. You made it. Thank you for making it. We're going to look at the poem one more time.
But it starts with, the truth shall set you free. That doesn't mean he's going to get out. But instead of all these machinations and trying to avoid the death penalty and lying to his parents and trying to play his parents and all these little, oh, well, I didn't start it, and I would have never wanted that for her, you know that, and like all the little annoying, well, maybe someday, we can get together and talk about it, and oh, no, just tell the truth, Stearns. Maddie suffered enough. 8 years of hell on earth,
Yep.
what Stearns
Every
put her
day.
through. She doesn't need a little poem from you. She's already with Jesus. She's with him. He's at the right hand of power. So my message to Stearns is, don't play with God. Like, he's played enough. Like, open that Bible, read it, get some wisdom, and then hopefully God will speak to you and confess his sins, confess what he did, confess what literally happened that night. Throw yourself on the mercy of the court and take whatever punishment is meted out. If that be the death penalty, so be it. Maddie died.
Yeah,
You can
I
tell
agree.
I'm fired up about this one too, but it's just makes me feel all weird that Stearns wrote this poem for Maddie with hearts and hid it in the Bible as if he's trying to take his sin and make it something sacred. It's not. It's just not. So when I get this PDF, I'll see if there's anything else I haven't covered, but I'm grateful that we found that, and we'll just move on.
We're grateful you found it too. Thank you for the incident reports. We got more information coming too, Paula. Thank you for your take on it. We appreciate Paula. Let's pull this down and bring up that poem one more time. I want you guys to take a look at it closely. For those that just came in, I want you to see this. And, as we start to think about heading out, because I just want to make sure I documented this on there. All right. So take a look at this. I'm going to zoom way in, and then I'm going to, he also carefully traced it. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at it together. I'm gonna pull myself down here. And thank you guys all that have donated today. Super chat, super stickers, all of it. Thank you. All right, take a look at this. I didn't mean to pull that up, but thank you, Pointer Lover. We'll go back to chat. Take a look at it close up. If you guys are watching this on a TV, you could see it even a little bit better. So I only have that first side right here that I can pull up. I have both sides, but I don't have them with me. I don't have both of them to pull up right now. Take a look at this. Let me hold on. Am I zooming on the right one? I have two of them. Okay, hold on. Why do I have two of them? That one down, that one down. Okay, there it is. All right, so take a look at this. Oh, wow. I did the wrong one. Dang it. Sorry about that. I'm trying to zoom in for you guys, but I keep doing it wrong. All right, so this piece of the paper, it says for Maddie, and that's on the folded side. He made sure he did it all good. Now, to me, this looks like pencil, but then it also looks like it might not be pencil. He might have sketched it with a pen real light and then made sure that I do, Maurice, I see pencil too. I see that he did pencil and then sketched over it and made sure he did it as perfect as he can do. All right, I don't know what you don't I hope you guys aren't fighting with each other. Tawanda, you're all gravy, baby. You're all gravy. We're all speculating here. He didn't send her to God. No, he did not send her to God. And I actually don't hold any weight to him putting this always poem. I don't hold any weight to him putting this poem inside of the Bible. The only reason I think that he did that is so that he thought that the officers and people wouldn't look inside of it. Now, it does look like that too to me. Pure romance. And what's up, Em? How you doing? Good to see you. It looks like to me, when I look at this, it looks like it's pencil, and then then he drew the pen over it. But also looking at it again, it also looks like it could be blue ink. Like it does look like pen over pencil, and it also looks like blue ink. I used to do that in school too, until I learned how to do it without having to do all that shit. No, Tawanda, you're good. I just wanted to tell you, if you guys I don't know what you guys are talking about in chat, but Tawanda Thornton, everything that you say and everyone else says holds the same amount of weight here on Guilty of Crime, because all of us right now are speculating, and I don't think that God had anything to do with anything that STEPHAN STERNS did with Maddie at all. I think it was just by pure, oh, here's my Bible. This is all I have inside of here, and I can hide it in here. That's what I thought he did. 222. Let's say a prayer for Maddie that she gets complete and utter justice. All right, I'm going to read this one more time, y'all, for you. So on the way out, I can have it here. You see the for Maddie, always the yellow paper that Paula didn't see was yellow. I hope you guys can see it's yellow. And you can see it really big the way he did it, the way he like sketched. It looked like he did paper over it. To me, that's what it looks like. All right. It looks like that. And what's up with the curves? It looks like light pen, then dark. See, Scylla, every time I look at it, I see it different too. So now I'm looking at it again, and it looks like light pen and then dark to me as well. Yes, 222 likes. That is ultimate prayer for Maddie. I thought he essayed her tonight. Many photos in charge says she is sleeping. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what he put out there. We don't know what he put out there that night on content either. I don't think he's left-handed. God sent that witness who helped find her to Maddie. I agree. And another thing I see is God's revealing this letter as well. So if we think that God sent that witness to us to find Maddie's body, here's another thing that God's revealed. All right. Always. Now, your hair was like honey, which is past tense. And thank you, Pointer Lover member, for turning green. Be you're not gonna be disappointed when you become a member. We're gonna have an awesome members only coming up. All right. Oh, I was saying he didn't her mom. I think that too, Tawanda. You know what? I actually thought that Jen took her life and Stefan dumped her body. And this letter is a good thing to point at for him to say, Jen did it, and I didn't want her to do this. I didn't want her dead, but Jen did it. So this is good evidence or a defense, in my opinion. So thank you. All right. One more time. Your hair was like honey, was past tense, with eyes stormy blue, gone far too soon. I will always miss you. And this, remember, this is 4 months after he got arrested. Your smile was a treasure. Your laughter filled the room. This world is not the same. I'll always miss you. Now, this is the predator writing a note or a poem to his victim. I loved you so much. I would have died for you with no end to my tears. I'll always miss you. Again, past tense, as I held you in my arms. As I held you in my arms, my heart died with you. Rest in peace, sweetheart. Again, this is all him saying that he didn't want her dead. Rest in peace, sweetheart. I'll always miss you. A predator to his victim. Now, a couple times here, I'm looking at it even closer, and it looks like he did light blue pen. It doesn't, in fact, look like he had a pencil. Now that I'm looking at it even bigger, he penciled it with or penned it in light blue and then went over it to make sure it was perfect for Maddie. Again, of that. No, I didn't mean to close that. I just closed something I didn't want to. At least I didn't close out on you guys. All right. So that was that. You can see it there. You can go on to my Patreon, go download that. Maddie was an easy target because her mother handed her over to that sick mom. You could say asshole. I love you though for being respectful because it might actually block that out. All right. And Tracy Pope, I used to write in pencil too and then ink over it. Also, like doing tattoo stencils. You'll use a pencil and pencil it in and then go real dark to get the stencil. I don't see him gaining anything by her. I agree with that. Yeah, her mom and everyone else knew about that and did nothing. I don't see anything either. I feel like he didn't gain anything. He's all alone in his cell. Just let the guards look away. Yes, Wyatt. That's why I love you. Just let the guards look away and let them. That too. Yeah. Pure romance. My heart died with you. What does that line mean? I think it means when she passed away. He was there when she passed away. He didn't want it. But again, 3 to 5 minutes to strangle somebody until their life is gone. I believe he was there when that happened. And he didn't want it to happen. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah, he's gonna get life in prison, but I want him to have the death penalty. And yeah, he's just a monster. Grateful for the membership, Sila. Thank you. Yeah, in his arms. Yes, Maurice. Good call. In his arms. Died in his arms. Did Jen Soto, this is what I'm going to pose to you on the way out. Did Jen Soto strangle her? Stephan Sterns hold her and then dump the body. LA film scene. I don't think the motive was pregnancy. I still don't think that. I think you can go anywhere at any time at this point in 2024 and go get an abortion. You can go on a black market and get an abortion. You can get a pill and the abortion will work. So I don't believe that in my heart of hearts. If that comes out, I'll say to you, LA film scene and everybody here, I was wrong. I was wrong and I was speculating. And that's what I'll say is I was speculating because I don't have any information. And Wyatt, we do not have a confirmation whether she was pregnant or not. We do know that they are not going to release the autopsy because she was a minor. But if Tyler or family want to tell us what the autopsy said or the toxicology, they absolutely can. Now, it was premeditated in the documents. His arrest says premeditated unaliving. All right. So that's interesting. He made a special trip after being at the parents. Agreed. And Lucky, again, we're speculating. If she was, I didn't want an abortion in that contention. I didn't want to. Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. Now, you guys can, yeah, you can say that she was pregnant. Look at the front dress. But if you see me in a picture to Wanda and you look at the front of my shirt, I've got a little belly there too. So you can't say, and a lot of teenagers are lumpy. A lot of teenagers now are going through those growing stages and they got a belly. It doesn't mean they're pregnant, but hey, I respect your opinion and everybody else's until I see it on paper. More, thank you. I don't think she was pregnant either. I absolutely don't. Yeah, he's charged with premeditation. I didn't kill her. It's a line from a Cutting Crew song. His parents said she was stressed the day of. Yeah, I heard that too. I heard that Jen Soto called Stephan Stearns and said, "Get over here. I need you to get over here." And you're right, Lucky. The coins. The coins. Yeah, I heard that too. But until we have it documented, I cannot tell you that. You say, no, I was pregnant at the age. Now I'm 45. I was pregnant at the age. Yeah, Tawanda, I respect your opinion. I respect all of your opinions. Yes, Jay, my daughter is 15, growing like a sprout, and they all get a little chunky. A lot of them get chunky and get little baby bellies. Mr. Beer, I love hearing all your opinion. Everyone's got something to bring to the table. Happy to have you in the fam. I'm happy to have you in the fam, and I love that you guys can sit here and have educated guesses with me and then, sit there and agree to disagree and not fight over it and call people names because I love there's different opinions. We don't have it in documents yet. Stress causes lots, right? All right. You guys hit the like button on your way out. If you like the way I present true crime and different sides of the case, do me a favor and share with your friends and family. And let's get up to 20,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Okay. I love you guys. I respect your opinions. And you're right, Richard Blake. I have a 10-year-old daughter and there's lots of hormonal issues all the time. Yes, Synth, you say I could agree with that. I love you, Tawanda. I love that you're here supporting the channel almost every day. I thank you. I thank all of you for this. Pure Romances. I freaking love this channel. We can all be adults and discuss, and we all are adults. We're all adults here. I just turned 45 this year. I better be an adult by now. I'm so sorry. I'm so happy to chat with everyone. Like great discussions, and I love that you guys respect each other. Nikki, I love you too. I appreciate that you guys do that. How do you get your hair like that? Well, you're gonna have to see a members only, Tracy. I'll give you my hair secrets on a members only, but I did get it pretty platinum, didn't I? I got it platinum, didn't I? I'll give you that. Lynette, I love you too. Lucky, Jay respects everyone. I love that. And the chat does too. Yes. And we all have a good sense of humor. We can all laugh about it and we can laugh at each other if we're wrong. You guys are more than welcome to laugh at me and throw tomatoes at your screen and say, boo, you were wrong, Jay. You were wrong. You're more than welcome. Yeah, I'll give you hair secrets on members only, okay? I don't want to talk about my hair secrets to everybody. Only the members get to know. Only the members. Ice Princess. I was going to comment on your hair when the time was appropriate. Well, thank you. I'm glad. I appreciate it. LOL 53. Yes. Yes, I'm coming up on that. Yeah, throw potatoes at my screen. Throw potatoes. Boo, Jay, you suck. You suck. You're wrong. She was pregnant. Boo, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm unsubscribing to you. You don't know what you're talking about. Love you guys. All right. Love you guys. It's almost 2 hours. I'm surprised we talked that long. 55 years young. I want a tattoo of a clover. Where's less painful? Get it on your shoulder, chumba. Shoulder's not painful. Not at all. Not happening. Well, you can throw some food at me as long as you cook me dinner and throw some food at me. Sonia, good night, good morning, good afternoon. You guys be here tomorrow. Please come support the channel and let's talk about Tiffany Lucas executing her 2 boys. viciously executing her 2 boys and then blaming it on Facebook. She will be sentenced on Friday. You ask, how do you execute your 2 boys and then blame it on Facebook? 16T. I haven't even toned it yet, LA film scene. I have not toned it. I've only dyed it 3 times. It's taken 3 times to get this damn black out of my hair. Love you guys. Yeah, throw some food at me. Make me some food and then throw it. Good info. Love speculating. Love brainstorming. Me too. Sushi toss. Yeah, throw some sushi at me. I wouldn't mind that. All right, y'all. Love you. Fire up old Sparky, Foxy, Amazon. Bogart says, Jay, you're the best. And so are all the mods. Good night, everybody. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Tiffany Lucas, let's say a prayer for those boys that were their lives taken way too soon. And say a prayer for Maddie on your way out. Wes says good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?